what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new live episode of the
GEEK
Buddies.
Hey!
I can't inhale
That beer is bigger than you are.
Look at that thing. What is that, a 40 ounce? What is that, a beer strain?
It's the Dungeons and Dragons mug that we got at Comic-Con a couple years ago. It's not that big.
Right.
Well, it makes you look like a dwarf.
What? How dare you?
Is that what we need right now? Is that going to bring the country together, Michael?
Can't we come together? Can't we come together?
Listen, I'm just saying, that thing is ginormous.
Well, welcome everybody for this live episode of the Geek Buddies. We are here to talk about all kinds of stuff going on in the world of entertainment. And yes, we are not unaware of the madness of stuff that's happened over the last few days. And of course, a lot of the sad feelings, a lot of the difficult feelings, difficult conversations that are going on. But we are here to hopefully brighten up your day or help you take a break from all of that and have some fun with us talking about everything going on in the world of entertainment, everything geeky, really, as we hang out on this live
Everything
show.
That's not that.
Yes, everything is not that exactly. And remember, this is a live show, so the Streamlabs and Superchats are open. We'd love y'all to send some support to go along through this show. And if there's any questions you want to ask us about things that maybe we're not covering on the show and you want to hear our points of views, please feel free to send them in. The Streamlabs address is pinned in the chats in the description of the video, and it's there on the screen, right above Michael's head. So send it in there as well. All right, so the way we're gonna do the show today is we've decided we're going to do basically like a rapid fire segment of a bunch of topics from this week. Then we're going to get into some trailers. Then we're going to get into our spoiler review of Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 4, which is called something about the door. Something about the door there. So yeah, it's called, is that what it's called? Yeah. Need I say door? There you go. Need I say door? So we're going to talk about all of that here on the channel. But first,
Sounds like a real Shannon McClung special, that title.
a lot of puns going on there.
All season, they have been Shannon McClung titles. Yeah, baby.
We will get to it all for sure. But I want to start I want to start with the Mario Galaxy situation. I know Shannon usually handles trailers, but you gentlemen are much more involved in the Super Mario Brothers side of things. So I want to ask you guys about this. We got a 51-second teaser to start things off today from the Super Mario Brothers, from Nintendo rather, for the Super Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's a very long movie. For those of us on YouTube, it's going to be very difficult to put review at the end of that without running out 100 characters. But the teaser trailer was a taste of what's to come. It features Mario resting under a tree in the Mushroom Kingdom while a butterfly zooms up to space as the theme of the Super Mario Galaxy begins to play. And of course, this is going to feature Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black. This is due out in April. So, Michael, your thoughts on this initial Super Mario Galaxy trailer? Do you like this teaser trailer?
I mean, there's not much to the teaser trailer. Like we know what the world looks like. It wasn't a big reveal. We saw Mario. We saw some adorable creatures that if you have ever played a Mario game, you're familiar with. And then we went up and got the Mario Galaxy title. I watched that trailer and I went, well, that's going to make $1 billion. It really, I recently went to Epic Universe in Orlando. Nice. And got to experience the full Super Mario Nintendo Land and the Donkey Kong Land and the whole thing. And really, and that combined with the fact that I just bought a Switch 2 and have been almost exclusively playing Mario Kart World to calm myself down after a long day of geeking out over things. Yeah. And, you watch that trailer, and as little as that trailer shows, it delivers on the reason that movie is going to make $1 billion. And that's people fucking love Mario.
Yeah.
People love Mario. They love that world. They love that music. I think the Super Mario Brothers movie was very beautiful. I thought the animation was fantastic. I thought the score was great. I didn't think the story was everything that it could be, but it is undeniable that if you grew up in a certain era, you are drawn to these characters. They are ingrained on your soul. And this trailer kind of delivered that. Like that butterfly flew through the Mushroom Kingdom. Yeah. And part of me was like, I'd really like to go there. And then another part of me was like, I have Mario Kart World. I can drive around in the free roam mode and do exactly what they're doing right now. I'll do that later. But yeah, it's going to be a monster. That movie is going to be an absolute monster, whether the story is good or not.
Yeah, fascinating time to drop it, Shannon. On a Friday, it's only 51 seconds. And as Michael pointed out, there's not much in it. In fact, the first shot is Mario just chilling against the tree there in Mushroom Kingdom before the star shows up and takes us all the way into the galaxy. But I guess the tease here is saying they're absolutely expanding the world and jumping right into Super Mario Galaxy. So what did you think of this trailer and the reveal of this title?
Isn't that what we all would like to do right now? Is just lean up against a tree in the Mushroom Kingdom and have a little siesta in the afternoon? That seems delightful to me. Yeah, well, I mean, this is when they did actually announce the title. Like, I think the working title had been the Super Mario Brothers movie 2. And again, I didn't play Mario as much as Michael still currently does. But the brand of Super Mario is a huge brand. I mean, it's when you look at the history of video game IP, the thing that has stuck around. I mean, there have been many that have stuck around for decades. But I would question whether or not anything has been as popular as Mario. So again, I think when you're coming off the box office of over $1 billion to get people excited, you don't have to do much. And I think just reintroducing the audience to the world, you go up to the castle and then you go up into space. And that's where that title was revealed. The movie comes out in April, so we have plenty of time for them to throw out another trailer. But I think I think kids are going to see that in theaters and lose their minds. So, yeah, I mean, there have been some recent examples of some billion-dollar movies that have had a sequel and that have not done $1 billion. I don't think this is going to be one of those examples.
It really is one of those things. Like, it doesn't always happen, and sometimes audiences don't show up. And both Disney and Pixar have had some more rocky things happening in the past. But with this one, I look at this and I'm just like, this will continue the trend of K-pop Demon Hunters and Inside Out and what I think Zootopia 2 is going to do. That there's just certain movies that you're like, families are going out to this. Older fans of this franchise are going out to this. Adults are going out to this. Like, people will show up for Mario. Like, this will be one of those things that it'll have a huge opening weekend. Some people will be like, oh, I didn't love the story. Some people will be like, I don't care. I loved it. Seeing them on screen was great. But then there will be a bunch of articles about how well it did. And then people like me, who are animation people, will roll our eyes when they're like, guys, I guess this animation thing really works. Maybe they should do more of it.
Well, let me first of all, I enjoyed the trailer, but again, I'm not the massive Super Mario Brothers fan in terms of the game as you guys are. But I loved that movie, and I was very happy it made $1 billion. I know I was one of the few critics that didn't bash the movie. I know a lot of people kind of went after the movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. As someone who was not familiar with the mythology and the canon and all of it, it was just an enjoyable time. I thought the voiceover from work from everybody was a real blast. And so to see them coming back makes a lot of sense. But Michael, I'll ask you what I asked Shannon. Are you surprised that they've already jumped to Super Mario Galaxy, to take advantage of that? Or did you think it should have waited maybe another installment or two?
No, I mean, look, Mario doesn't have a linear story where you would go, well, they've got to go through the years that he struggled and then have the comeback before he go. Like, it's not what it is. It's like Mario, you can sort of jump around. And so, the movie was called Super Mario Brothers 2 for a while. They changed it to Super Mario Galaxy. People are excited, but I don't think that if the first movie is any indication, the title, the inclusion of things doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be exactly what you think it is. It's like, I don't think it's good. They didn't go, we did Super Mario Brothers. Let's do Super Mario Brother 2. Let's send them to a weird dream world with the Shy Guys and Birdo. Now we'll do Super Mario Brothers 3. He turned into a raccoon. Like, there's no reason to go sequential. So I think if they got a good idea and said, here's how we're going to blow this universe out and give fans stuff that they really want to see, go for it.
Yeah. Good point. All right, well, let's move on from that. As Shannon said, it's coming out in April, so I'm sure we'll see more stuff from Nintendo for this. But let's stay in the video game world, and let's move on to Neal Druckmann. Neal Druckmann had some comments here. He left Last of Us Season 3, and during a new interview with Variety. This is a bit of a long one. He said, our goals for the show, I had multiple goals. Some of them were selfish. I wanted to elevate The Last of Us beyond the people that have played the game. I felt like that story could find a bigger audience for people that would never play the video games. I wanted to elevate Naughty Dog, and PlayStation has been a home for me 20 minutes, blah, blah, blah. It's given me all the support, tell these wonderful stories, but I wanted someone to watch this show and have no idea it was based on the video game and then be like, wait, that's based on a video game? It was quite challenging to be involved as a co-showrunner on season 1 and 2 while running a studio and working and directing and writing a game. I really appreciated Naughty Dog, how many people stepped up while I was gone working on season 2, prepping it, writing it, directing it. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do that again. So I felt around that period when we're wrapping up all the press and really about to get started with earnest in season 3, that it was a good time to reassess everything. He also went on to say that he will have input. He had input in season 3 as well because they talked about it to wrap things up here. So Shannon, you hear his comments. Is this a little brand saving? Do you buy this? What are your thoughts on Druckmann's comments here about why he left season 3 of The Last of Us?
Well, I think we talked about this when that announcement was made, several months ago. And one of the reasons that I think that we landed on was he's not a TV guy. Like, he's a video game guy. Like, he ushered in one of their biggest names in their studio's history, created a successful television series based off of the first game, got the ball rolling on the second game, which was not complete. It's going to be completed with season 3. And potentially, did they say that they're going to do a season 4?
I don't think they've said that yet. I don't know.
But at the end of the day, Neal Druckmann is a video game guy. I mean, and I think he's being pretty forward in that I did what I set out to do. As a video game guy, as one of the heads of Naughty Dog, like, I have other things that I do want to do. I'm not done with video games just because I helped showrun a very successful adaptation of one of our games doesn't mean I'm done with video games. Right. So, I mean, I know there had been some theorizing that based off of a bit of the pushback that season 2 got, that like, oh, is this sort of him running for the hills? I don't think it was. I think he set out what he wanted to do, and he wants to go back to games, and already that new game, that sci-fi game that they're doing, according to him in that interview, that there already is initial interest from studios. And it's like the game's not even done yet. So I don't think we've seen the last of Neal Druckmann in television, but I do think that he is being honest when he wanted to go back and finish this game.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Michael? You've been a showrunner. You've dealt with things in certain ways. You got to make sure you please certain people involved with the project. But I mean, this was his thing, bringing it to HBO with Craig Mazin, then getting attached to it. So what do you think about his comments here? And do they seem pretty straightforward, or is he doing a little face saving on this?
I mean, with Last of Us, it's hard to tell because, again, as most of us, if you're watching this or as we are recording this, spend a lot of time on social media. You see a lot of the Last of Us 2 backlash and people arguing about Bella Ramsey and we don't like her and she's not good or she's not, like, we get into all these things. Yeah. And so we have this perspective of, oh, it's all drama and everyone's upset. But, like, it seems like HBO is fine with Last of Us. It's season 2 is nominated for Emmys this Sunday at the Emmy Awards. Like, there's no kind of, oh, this show really fell. That sometimes it seems like you look at some people on social media seem to say that it did. And so I'm kind of with Shannon here. I think that when we watch season 3, whenever season 3 finally comes out, if there is some massive drop in quality or all of a sudden the show is just terrible, we'll either say, A, Neal Druckmann shouldn't have left, that he clearly was the magic special sauce there, or B, oh, maybe he did leave because he didn't like the direction that things were going. Right. But right now, it's sort of like, this new intergalactic, the heretic prophet that you're made, that's going to be like, that they're saying is like the biggest game they've ever made, possibly the most expensive game they've ever made by the time it comes out. Like, Neal Druckmann, at the end of the day, runs a video game company. Yeah. The showrunner thing was something that came out of Last of Us, and he was pretty straightforward. And look, my goal was, I want to make a show that people go, wow, I didn't even realize that was a video game. I can't believe it. That was so good. And he did it. And we've talked about, I talk about this a lot in meetings for my job with the virtual reality company that I'm working for. Like I cite Last of Us all the time as a show that really got that premium treatment as a video game IP that has proved that there's great, great, great stories in video games.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like he did it. And then, you know, maybe he likes the half of season 2 that he worked on, and the other half of it, he was like, yeah, you guys can do what you want with that. I don't care about it as much. Like, who knows? But I don't think that there is any major drama there. Maybe there is. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like to me he's being as on. Not everyone can play the media game, right? Sometimes people are just going to tell you their truth, and they're going to go on for paragraphs and tell you the truth. And it feels like to me, Druckmann is doing that. And it does also feel like there's an undercurrent that like Neal was used to being in charge. Sharing being in charge with someone else who's also used to being in charge is not easy. And so, Shannon, what you said earlier, like that there's already seems to be interest in his new video game possibly being adapted. I'm sure that time around, he will be like, well, I need to be the main showrunner and I want to be able to be in charge of what we're doing and blah, blah, because as he said in his quotes, he clearly had an idea and vision about how to make this version of Last of Us appeal to people who didn't play the video game and who would be like inspired to play the video game because of what they saw. So that to me radiates someone who wants to be a showrunner eventually on TV himself. So I wonder if when this thing gets adapted, if it does, his new game, that he'll be the main showrunner for it because maybe he doesn't like sharing that title anymore and the responsibilities. So
I would also point out, though, on the other side of it, that again, given that his day job is running a video game studio that is currently making their biggest video game of all time, I don't know that he would want to showrun an entire show by himself, nor would he be capable of doing that and keeping his day job. So it also gets into, what do you want? Like, you might be absolutely right. He might, Intergalactic Heretic Prophet might come out and everyone will go, holy shit, this is absolutely the greatest game that Naughty Dog has ever made in the history of video games. And then he will say, I'm quitting because I'm a showrunner now. And then you'll be like, all right, he really caught that showrunner bug. He's back. But just as likely, he'll be like, this is great. And you'll see him and Craig Mazin do it again. You know, you'll see in the long run, you'll go, oh, okay, I think this is what was going on. But you won't really be able to tell until down the road.
We'll see it for sure. So, yeah, as with everything, it'll depend on when it finally happens, what he ends up doing for sure. All right, let's move on to this story. This is an interesting story. What do you guys think about this? Apparently, Paramount is lining up a bid to buy Warner Brothers. I mean, the ink isn't even dry on the fact that Skydance bought Paramount. Now that they've become essentially Paramount Skydance, now they want to set their sights on Warner Brothers, and apparently they want to buy the entire thing, everything, and instead of waiting for them to split apart. And what seems to be the industry logic on this is that they're doing this so that they essentially can outbid everybody else right from the beginning, grab it up, and then move forward. Michael, this is massive. You're essentially combining two legacy movie studios into one under the control of one person or one entity, in essence. Is this dangerous? Does this speak to where we're at now in film and film itself and studios itself, the volatility of the market right now, that this would even be a possibility to be considered? What are your thoughts on this?
My thought is the image that you just put up was hilarious, first of all.
It's the worst thumbnail, second worst thumbnail.
8-bit Superman versus 8-bit Optimus Prime for control of their movie studios was a real choice. I mean, look, Elizabeth Warren clearly thinks it's a bad idea. She's been telling everybody that she thinks it's a horrible idea.
It's true.
It's interesting that we are just sort of witnessing this reshaping of Hollywood that has not changed for, decades and decades and decades. That there was Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount, Disney, 20th Century Fox. Now, we've already lived through this happening once with Disney and 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
And there was a ton of concern about what that was going to mean. I mean, look, what it means, first of all, is layoffs, because that would ultimately be something. But, what is this going to mean for these? Everything is going to be Disney-fied. We're not going to get this. We're not going to get that. I don't know what it means for the long run as far as monopolies go, but I will say that, at least from my perspective, the Disney Fox merger seems to have been pretty good for a lot of the Fox IP.
Okay.
When you look at what's happening with Aliens, when you look at what's happening with Predator, when you look at a lot of these different things, got Avatar 3 coming out, like, it seems like, at least on those massive IPs. Now, when it comes to smaller films, you could argue that this mega corporation of these two studios isn't doing a lot of smaller things. With the Paramount Warner Brothers thing, like you said, particularly the thing that makes this unique is like the ink isn't even dry on the Paramount thing. Like they're like, great, we're doing this, we're going to eat an even bigger fish. But it is interesting when you look at, like, Warner Brothers has, I don't want to say way better. Warner Brothers has more IP than Paramount does.
Right.
I mean, Paramount has Star Trek, Paramount has Mission Impossible, which maybe feels like it's run its course. Paramount has their Nickelodeon library, but Warner Brothers is Harry Potter. It's all of the Cartoon Network stuff. It's all the DC stuff. Like, there's just some major stuff. They've got the Barbie movie. They've got the Minecraft movie. Like, Warner Brothers has massive debt and has kind of been a mess and all over the place, thanks to our buddy David Zaslav, but they've had a really good year. And just when you look at the amount of what they have, now they have HBO Max, and HBO Max is kind of struggling, but it's not struggling as much as Paramount Plus struggles.
Right.
But Paramount now has this massive influx of cash and capital, and it has this sort of brand new shiny thing going on. Like, it's interesting to see how both of them might fit well together as puzzle pieces, and how it could be that this Warner Paramount, whatever it ends up being called, could be something that could rival the Disney Fox thing. Now, what that really does turn into, though, is it reminds me of like the world of Alien Earth, where you have these 5 corporations that literally own the entire planet. And this is what Elizabeth Warren is worried about. Like, in the entertainment industry, if it's Disney Fox over here, Paramount Warner Brothers over here, little Universal over here, just holding on to their hilltop in Toluca Lake, and then you've got Netflix and you've got Amazon. And that just sort of reshuffles and reshapes the entire deck for where things are going forward. I think for us, as people who are fans of IP and geeks who want to see these things continue on, it's going to be good for us. Is it good for small movies? Is it good for the entertainment industry as a whole? Is it good for everyone who wants things to pick up in Hollywood as far as more jobs for people both in front of the camera and behind the camera?
Yeah.
That I don't know, but it's fascinating to be living in an era where the industry that, we all grew up loving is just sort of changing and shifting before our eyes.
And I wonder if that means, Shannon, like less movies, less projects, less things to be a part of. You as an actor, both of you as creatives in the industry, like, it's what's going to be consolidated here if you put 2 studios together. I hear you on the Fox Disney thing. It's a great example in comparison, Michael, but is there, because there's more IP here to be combined, because you have to include, if they're buying the whole thing, you're also talking about the TV side of things, which includes CNN, TNT, TBS, Discovery, and other networks. There is so much involved in making this purchase. And from what the article says, it's a $70 billion 71 billion proposal, possibly. So, Shannon, is this a little unsettling for you to hear about this thing? Or, like Michael, are you saying possibly us as geeks will benefit from this stuff?
Well, I think as fans, if big IP driven projects are what you want, having 2 big corporations who both have their own individual IPs coming together with this, truckload of Sky dollars from Skydance, that's probably great. Yeah. I think for the people that work there, like as Vogel already said, what happens when you merge is there are layoffs. Because if we've got 10 development people and we've got 10 development people, are we going to have 20 development people? No, we're probably going to have 10. So 10 of them are going to be gone. And when you look at, there is definitely going to be a reduction of output, especially at the beginning, because if Warner Brothers releases 12 movies a year and Paramount releases 12 movies a year, they're not going to release 24 movies. It's probably not going to be 12, but it's not going to be 24. So there's just going to be a general reduction in what they're putting out there. And it's, for me, I think, as when you look at sort of like the history of Hollywood and to get like slightly nostalgic and romantic about it, a big studio going away, that's sad. Now, is it actually going to go away? I mean, 20th Century Studios is still a thing. The Fox lot over in Century City, it is still there. Will the Warner Brothers logo go away? No. Will the Paramount logo go away? No. But it's just, I do think there is something kind of sad about it. Especially because, I mean, I've worked a lot on that WB lot, and that's a wonderful place to work. That's a wonderful place to shoot. And to feel that it's, again, these giant corporations who are using studios as like these, building blocks, these little things that they can put up on their mantle. It just kind of makes me sad. I mean, could this all work out great? Absolutely. But I think, especially at the beginning, I think our community, our entertainment community, is going to be hurt more than helped.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and okay, go ahead, Mike. You want to add one more thing? Because I want to swing back to the DC side of things of this. So do you want to chime in?
Just before you get to the DC thing, I mean, not to offer a counterpoint, because I think you're right, and it is kind of sad and it's weird and everything's changing. But what I think there's another way that you just have to look at this, and this is just the writing on the wall, is the second that Netflix and Amazon and all of these streaming companies got into the game, and just changed the entire structure of how the industry works. Like, okay, well, we don't do syndication anymore. Residuals are all of a sudden a different thing. Buyouts are a different thing. Like, the second that streaming came in, and what a lot of that stuff is stuff that you see behind the scenes, but what we all see is, people don't go to the movies as much. We don't get as many middle of the road comedies because nobody's doing those in theaters, because most of those are going directly to streaming, and people are sitting at home and watching things. Amazon and Apple are paying big name actors huge amounts of money to either do movies on streaming or be in TV shows on streaming. And so that's hurting the movie industry. So everything has to respond. Like, it's, for every action, there is a reaction. And I think that this selling of the studios and consolidating, a large part of it is because the studios aren't doing as well as they once did, and a huge part of that is because of streaming. It is because the network model doesn't work the exact same way that it does. So this consolidation, I'm not saying I think it's all great and everything is awesome and Elizabeth Warren is wrong. I am saying that maybe the way that we keep those lots working, to your point, Shannon, maybe the way that you keep the Warner Brothers lot doing things and the Paramount lot doing things and the Fox lot doing things is that they consolidate. And that is the bulwark against these streaming things who are doing things. And look, I'm not saying that I don't think Netflix and Amazon are necessarily the enemy. They make really good content too. They make shows that I really enjoy, but it's undeniable that they've absolutely come in and 100% changed the game in the past decade.
Yeah, I would add to your point, Apple, because Apple's the one that's come in and like thrown all kinds of money at these creators to make movies that they know are not going to make money in the box office. I mean, that's why F1 is such a massive surprise, because almost all of the Apple movies do not make bank at the box office. They are meant to be seen on Apple TV Plus, but they're luring so many fantastic creators to be a part of their system in order to make the stuff. So yeah, that's an element of it as well. And just to wrap up this section of the conversation about this, MoffettNathanson analyst Robert Fishman wrote in a research note yesterday, the idea would be to, quote, consolidate media assets during a period of industry-wide instability and build a conglomerate with a streaming first focus, as Michael was alluding to and Shannon commented on, wrapped with TV and film studios and potentially a larger linear television portfolio. And the bid is possibly being done to preempt a potential bidding war for only the WB streaming and studios assets post-split. So you wonder if Zaslav wanted to wait. I don't know. Are Ellison and Zaslav, billionaires are a whole nother conversation, and they can talk with each other and work stuff out in different ways than the normies do. So I don't know what the whole plan is, if this is a long-term plan, if this has been in motion, because Zaslav has been setting this thing up to be sold since the day he walked through the door as its CEO. So is this the move? And Michael, you mentioned earlier, like, or Shannon, I think maybe said this, like, well, WB's on a run right now. And I said this on the hot mic yesterday, like, this is when you sell high. You don't sell low, you sell high.
Well,
when
I mean, they're on a run. They're also still like racked with debt. So it's not like 100%, but but you are right. They look better now than they did a year ago, at least on the feature side. And
they might look worse next year when stuff doesn't maybe work out as strongly like The Bride and other things. We'll see. But what about the DC side of things? Michael, I go to this. Will this affect James Gunn in any way? Or do you think James Gunn has maybe behind the scenes been part of these conversations already? Hey, if we make the move, don't worry, you're going to be fine. DC's going to be fine. We're going to keep doing the things the way you're doing. I mean, will this be, or will Ellison come in if they do buy Warner Brothers in like a year or two and be like, okay, we're starting DC all over again with my person that I want to be in charge?
I mean, a lot of that will depend on Supergirl and where things go. Like, Warner Brothers is happy. Like, despite social media, Warner Brothers is happy with Superman.
Yeah.
Like, Warner Brothers, like, we're feeling good about things. Everyone's feeling good. So if you come in and you buy a company and the franchise is working, you don't just go, let's change it because. Like, if they had bought Warner Brothers a few years ago, where we had, you know, the law of diminishing returns between The Flash and Blue Beetle and all these other movies that were coming, Black Adam, then you're going to come in and you're going to say, okay, I'm wiping the slate clean. But as long as things are doing well, you know, you don't, unless you have a really good reason or a fucking ego the size of who knows what, you don't change everything. And, you know, and we're already seeing that. Like, I have friends at Nickelodeon, and as the deal was finally closing with the Paramount Skydance stuff, like, everyone was kind of like, you know, if you don't care about kids programming, do you just say, yep, we're closing this down. We don't want this. Let's sell it to somebody else. Or do you say, oh, there's something here. We're going to revitalize things. We're going to build Nickelodeon back up. Right now, it seems like their plan is to build Nickelodeon back up. So I think it's the same thing. Like, you know, depending on if and when any of this happens, if Supergirl comes out a year from now and it's doing really, really well and people seem excited about the prospects of Man of Tomorrow, like, you know, and we finally figure out who Batman is going to be. And, you know, like, there's like, okay, well, let's let this keep going. It seems to be working.
Yeah. Shannon, your thoughts on the DC thing? Do you think they'll switch over, or do you think it'll keep it going?
I think they understand the value of the DC Comics intellectual property. And if they want to strengthen it back up, I don't think the path is to knock down the sandcastle that they just started building. I know there was someone in the comments who said, you know, James Gunn's DC universe is over before it started. I don't think they would mess with something that's working. Again, I think Vogel is right that if Lanterns comes out and it's a train wreck, if Supergirl underperforms, if Man of Tomorrow just doesn't have the same magic that Superman did, could that happen then? Possibly. But again, I think they do understand the value in what they would potentially be getting.
I just don't want to live through another DC reboot. Like, I just don't want to live through it. I honestly don't want to live through that all over again. I don't care how much YouTube content I get out of it. It's so goddamn exhausting. So I would hate to think that. I hope they would keep it going, because if it's good and successful and people liking it, James Gunn can just keep doing his thing and what have you. We will see in the long run. But there's a lot of steps before this actually happens, before it all gets in motion. So we'll see. But speaking of DC, let's move on to this conversation, gentlemen. A lot of eagle-eyed people online have been commenting on some of this stuff that has come to us from the Clayface set, including this the Batman symbol that you see on a trash dumpster there that you see. But you got Sionis Industries, Black Canary is mentioned here. I think there was the Flying Graysons with Dick Grayson. I didn't even include there is Vesuvius is in there as well, the Penguin Man, and there's even the park that the Joker hangs out with that was mentioned in one of the pictures as well. Well, James Gunn was asked about it on Threads, and here's James Gunn's response to the Batman logo being on a trash can during Clayface. Although the trash can is from the set, I have a hard time believing the bat was put there by the art department. Oh, someone else put it there. But if so, it never came across my desk. I don't have time to every piece of set dressing. What is happening.
That man just should not tweet.
All right, what do you think about this, Shannon? Is it real? Is it not real? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, the Flying Graysons and the Penguin Man, I think that's all real. Even the picture of the dumpster, I'm like, was that there? I don't know. I mean, that seems a little superimposed. It seems a little perfect. but beside that, I mean, that's really cool stuff to have in the background of a shot. How much they're actually going to show, we'll see when the movie is filmed. Yeah. I would think that they're not putting up all of these kind of Easter eggs willy-nilly, that it's a reward for eagle-eyed viewers. Does it mean that Robert Pattinson is going to be the Batman in this universe? No, that doesn't feel like it to me. And also, yeah, I doubt James Gunn is okaying every piece of set dressing that comes through.
Well, I mean, something that big, I feel like you don't go rogue, right, Michael? You don't, even a set designer, you're not going like, I mean, it just.
I'm with Shannon. I don't know if that's a set designer or if somebody photoshopped that thing on the trash can. Like, I can't tell. Like, the other stuff is very clearly part of the set. You see what it is. Like, that's like a.
Yeah,
it's pretty perfect.
Did somebody just go, hey, Photoshop? Like, I don't know. I mean, like, if the president is giving speeches that look like they were done with AI, I don't know somebody could put a Batman on a trash can. But I do think the rest of it is cool. Also,
okay,
look, the tiny bat symbol. Yeah, I know we get very into. Oh well, this is clearly that bat symbol. It reminds me of freaking Morbius when you had the Spider-Man poster in the background, and it sent us all into a tizzy about. Well, this is the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. No, it's the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Guess what? It doesn't even matter. That movie didn't even touch on it. So it's like, this is a world, and James Gunn has been really clear about this. This is a world where Batman exists. We don't know which Batman it is, but if this is a world where Batman exists, and it's a world where, at least in James Gunn's original vision, Batman is already on to Damian, then there was a Dick Grayson, which means there was a Flying Grayson. There is a Sionis Industries, so there is a Black Mask. There is a Penguin, because, it's like, we already know that this is a lived-in Gotham City where these characters exist. So seeing all these things in the background is cool, and it kind of confirms that, this is a Gotham. This isn't the Gotham Year One. This is a Gotham where people are used to this stuff. So I think it's all cool. It makes me excited for the movie. It makes me excited to see where things are going. But I do – what I love is that I don't just love that James Gunn responded, but I love – you could tell, like, he was in a little bit of a pissy mood.
Yes, he was.
Like, he was like, yeah, I don't think someone put that there, but I don't have time to do this right now. I don't have time for everything to look across my desk. Leave me alone. Somebody get me a coffee. Miss Tessmacher!
I just hate that he said, essentially implied that someone else might have put it. He's like, I can't imagine they would do this. And it's like, oh, come on. Cut it out. Cut it out!
Well, the fun thing about it, though, is we've got a glimpse into what the Penguin season 2 could be. It's the time that Oz Cobb spent in the circus that they didn't cover in season 1.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating because clearly, as you said, Michael, the Batman universe is alive and well in Clayface, and so maybe they are craftily just laying the groundwork that the Batman universe is already in motion. And we are going to essentially pick up when the thing is already moving forward, when we finally get to a Batman, whichever it may be. Batman.
I already assumed that was the case.
Yeah. Well,
again,
I didn't go this far. I didn't go.
I mean, a couple things that make it clear that he kind of would. One, again, like I said, if you're doing Brave and the Bold and you're doing Batman has Damian, and you're also writing a Teen Titans script, which means there's a Nightwing, or at least a Robin who has moved on, then you're like, then this is a world that has existed. Also, in Creature Commandos, we saw Dr. Phosphorus get taken down by Batman. Yes, and we know from Peacemaker and things that Rick Flag said that all of that is clearly canon and happened. And we know kind of that it happened prior to Peacemaker and Superman. So Batman has been around for a while in this universe.
Yep. Agreed. All right, we'll see what happens with that. And we'll get to our Peacemaker review in just a second. One last thing, gentlemen, real quick, your reactions. This was displayed here. It is the first quote-unquote official look of RDJ in the Doctor Doom outfit, the lower half of his body. Doesn't give us any reveals, including he doesn't have the goat-like feet that he had from the Ultimate Universe, but Doom's cloak is far more bigger and noticeable than the version we saw in Fantastic Four Steps, First Steps, but it looks a little small in my opinion. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the Doctor Doom shot? Does that look like what we're going to get? Do you like the look? Do you like the appeal of this?
I didn't realize Buzz Lightyear was going to be in Doomsday.
I think it's just all of Disney. It's in Shanghai.
Just put him up as Buzz Lightyear, Spidey, and Doctor Doom. This is going to get wild. I can't wait till Buzz gives him a good old to infinity and beyond and knocks that mask right off his face.
And Buzz has gotten huge. He's normally like this.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. RDJ is not a tall guy.
Yeah,
so the fact that Doctor Doom is a little smaller, not a huge shock. I mean, in terms of like Doctor Doom, like, yeah, that looks like Doctor Doom. I mean, it's the classic. He's in a green cloak. He's got the metal mask. He's got the armor on. I think when you click on the photo and you can zoom in, you can see sort of the details. People are saying that there are like some sort of like a magical inscriptions on some of the armor. I mean, he looks like Doctor Doom. I mean, like the Doctor Doom that they chose to do for the Tim story, the one that had the more almost like double-breasted vest.
Yeah.
I thought for that world, sure, that worked. It looks like they are leaning into the classic Doom with the billowing cloak. I don't know how much you can actually change Doom. I mean, that is what he looks like.
Yeah, 100%. Michael, do you want to say one more thing?
I wonder if he would have looked smaller if he had Shannon's beer in his hand.
What the
looks like a
I think that's I think the image, the still image in the standee is interesting. I think there's probably a little bit more to be gleaned from the light show that they showed where they revealed Doctor Doom at Shanghai Disney. I think that, they did a big sort of epic reveal with a really cool light show with a lot of imagery, set to music that kind of showed stuff. But there was some interesting stuff in that that I kind of found is still unclear, but like led me down some roads. Like there was a lot of green mist and green ropey things that were really reminiscent of Loki at the end of season 2 of Loki kind of holding the multiverse in together as the tree sitting on his throne. Yeah. They showed a long shot of Doom sitting on throne as his suit kind of changed a little bit, which evoked the Doom from the Secret Wars comic. Right. And when they showed a lot of the symbols and Doom sort of moving his hand and a lot of symbols and things moving, and then it kind of split into shards the way the opening of What If did and him kind of molding them. Some of the symbols that were there, kind of to Shannon's point about people saying when you zoom in, you see sort of some runes or sort of magic looking symbols. Wow. Some of the symbols he used seemed very Doctor Strange / Scarlet Witch kind of things that we've seen in Multiverse of Madness and the Doctor Strange movies. And so that leads me down like, okay, cool. It does seem like, however we're going, we are getting the full Doctor Doom is a scientist and also into the sorcery and the magical arts of things and kind of combining because, Doctor Doom in the comics he's a little bit Iron Man, but he's also a little bit Doctor Strange. And so kind of some of that stuff got me excited and really made me feel, we're really going to see Doctor Doom sort of, we know that Tom Hiddleston is in the movie. We know that TVA is in the movie, but as Doctor Doom is sort of taking what remains of the multiverse as all of these incursions are happening and getting ready to build what he wants to build, it was confirming a little bit. Someone really pointed out there's one shot that 1000% looks like Doom is holding up kind of like a skeleton in his hands.
Hold
that looks exactly. What?
Hold that thought for a second. Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead. So the reference.
There it is. Thank you very much. There's this shot of Doom in the sky sort of holding what looks a little bit like a skeleton or something in his hands. And then what John just posted here shows down in the corner the shot from the Hickman Secret Wars comic where Doctor Doom basically demolishes Thanos. So a lot of these things are getting people really excited because you're like, okay, this is what it's going to be. I know Shannon was texting and saying that as much as we're all worried about Doomsday and think it might be a shit show, you give Shannon a pretty light show with some really good musical score and he's sold. And I have heard other people say the same thing. So I do think that even though Shannon is correct, there's only so much you can do with Doom. There's nothing here that we saw that was like, oh my God, they've totally changed it.
Yeah.
You look at it and you go, A, that's Dr. Doom. And B, with this whole light show that they sort of did, like, I think they are hinting at the things that are getting people excited. The one thing I did notice is Doom's mask and the angles and shapes of his mask do look different to me than the mask that's being held in the hand at the end of the post-credit sequence in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, good point.
Which looks a little rounder. So that was like, oh, is that what is that about? I don't know, but it was something I noticed.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, all right, there you go. So we'll keep tabs on that and compare it when we finally do get a live action Doom that we can look at from this particular version.
That trailer is going to be bananas when it comes out.
100%. All right, that's all the stuff for the rapid fire. Shannon, take us into some trailers here, brother.
We'll go into some trailers. And speaking of Marvel, just a couple hours before we started our show here, Marvel Zombies released a new trailer. It's short, 90 seconds or so. But whereas the first one definitely leaned in, I mean, it had the gore, it had, arrows going into zombies' heads and people getting ripped apart. This one, but it was fun. This one leans in more to the ominous nature of a world being ravaged by zombies. And it looks like, at least for Shang-Chi and Katie, this one starts in San Francisco. I mean, there is some really, really chilling imagery of bodies just coming off the top of a roof. We get more shots of Blade Knight. We get Red Guardian being as serious as Red Guardian can be. This is the type of thing, and the fact that it is coming out at the end of September, it's the beginning of spooky season, even though it's only 4 episodes, this one got me excited. So gentlemen, I'll throw it over to you, our resident geek buddy who loves short ordered series. Mikey, what did you think of our newest trailer for Marvel Zombies?
I was sitting there enjoying the shit out of that trailer, and then it said a 4-episode special event, and I'm like, you pieces of shit, give me a season. Yeah, look, it all looks good. It's to me, we know we're getting gore. We know we get to see all the superheroes, a bunch of the superheroes as zombies. Like it's giving us like what we are signing up for. We are clearly getting delivered, so that is good. So really, at this point, what it really hinges on is what is the story. Right. Is this story innovative and exciting and cool, or is it a sort of by the numbers? Shang-Chi is running, and then Miss Marvel stops and says, come join the Resistance. And he goes and joins the Resistance, and we see who survived. And we're like, we've got 2 episodes to destroy this zombie army, but if we can just find this MacGuffin, we'll do it. And then you go, okay, it was fine. But like, I got to see all the gore, but like, I'm really hoping that there's some surprises story-wise in there. That it's not just all right, here's this, here's the good guys that are left, here's our last chance, let's do the thing. I want a little bit more.
Some sustenance. Give
me some meat on them bones.
Now, Johnny, as someone who loves the dark stuff, do you feel like this is maybe what the show is going to be, or did they cut this trailer for people like you who are like, I'm tired of my superheroes making jokes. I want to see some depressing.
I would say this. I think both trailers showed me exactly what this series is going to be, which is when it's funny or humorous, it's going to be funny and humorous and work. When it's dark, it's going to work. So for me, that excites me on so many levels because it's tough to mirror those tones. It's tough to connect those tones and make it work. And I think this trailer, I like the first trailer, and I really like this trailer because I'll tell you this, scared the fuck out of me thinking about a ghost a ghost being a zombie is some scary ass shit, considering she can teleport in and out or whatever, or vibrate in and out of areas. And they showed the fear of what that would be like to confront that in those scenes that they showed. It felt very Helm's Deep by the end. Like this is this is the battle. This is everything everybody's been waiting for. And we got Red Guardian to lead us into this massive battle. And I even let out a little bit of a laugh as I see Doctor Strange's head floating through. I thought that was great with Spider-Man and Black Knight, or Black Panther rather. I thought that all of that was so awesome. So to me, I'm incredibly excited to see what we're going to get in these 4 episodes, because I feel like it's going to speak my language a lot. So I'm down.
Well, Marvel Zombies, all four incredible episodes are dropping on September 24th. That brings us to our next trailer, a film that is tailor-made for one John Steven Rocha.
Oh,
we
man.
get our first look at The Rip.
Yeah,
this
baby.
is from director Joe Carnahan of Narc and the A-Team fame. There is something that he does really well, and it is gritty cop drama. And this trailer has plenty of that. This one is starring Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Sasha Calle, Steven Yeun, Kyle Chandler. I mean, this is just Scott Adkins. I mean, this is Teyonah Taylor. I mean, this is just a stacked cast. This one is for Netflix. And anytime there's a trailer for an impressive looking movie and it's going to Netflix, we have been trained to be like, oh, that looks great. Yeah, we'll see. But Joe Carnahan telling this type of story, I mean, this gets me excited, and I'm going to guess it gets John excited too. What'd you think of our first look at The Rip?
Yeah, you and I saw Cop Shop together up there in Burbank, and that was a great experience. Joe Carnahan was an awesomely well-directed film, so I love him. I know he's hit or miss, but he's much more hits than misses for me. Going back to Narc and everything up to now, this looks like a great bringing together of Affleck and Damon now. These guys have been through the wars of entertainment, the wars of their own lives, you know, Ben with all the drinking and rehab and all of that, but also the different relationships and the divorces and all the madness. Damon himself, you know, becoming this big star, then, you know, becoming a dad, then having some films not do so well, then climbing back up. Like, there's so much. He's about to be in the Odyssey. So these guys are grizzled. They're old now. And I love that this energy is all throughout this trailer. Having Sasha Calle in here, man. I loved her Supergirl. So anytime she gets a chance to be on screen in a movie like this to showcase what she can do, I'm absolutely in support of it. Teyonah Taylor, another great actress coming through as well. But Steven Yeun being a part of this is awesome. I love this because I'll tell you, it's the honest truth. You don't see a lot stateside. You don't see a lot of Asian actors in gritty crime drama type stuff. So seeing Steven get into this, I think is awesome. So all around, it has the right tone, the right look, the right visuals, and the idea that they're dirty cops. What is this all going to lead to? It's fascinating, you know, so I loved it. Yeah, I'm down.
Now, if there is one adjective I could use to describe our third geek buddy, it is gritty. Vogel, what did you think of our first look at The Rip?
I know that you two have your little cop dates where you go giggle in a corner about all of these gritty movies and you leave me out of it. But I love a gritty movie. I don't live a gritty lifestyle.
No grit.
You know, baby.
But you know what? I was working on a graphic novel script today, and you know what I was listening to while I wrote? The score to True Grit.
Hey.
So deal with that.
Nice. I like that score.
It's a great score to write to. I will tell you this. I mean, here's what I'll say. I will admittedly say that maybe if I just saw a trailer for a gritty cop movie about some dirty cops that stole money, I would watch it and I would go, yeah, maybe I'll watch it. I'm sure Shannon and John will tell me if it's good. But I lived through Good Will Hunting coming out.
Hey.
And Matt Damon and Ben Affleck being these best friends who made good and then just rocketed into stardom. And there is something about seeing those two together on screen that just makes me happy.
Yeah.
And then I love Steven Yeun. And then literally this trailer kept going. I was like, oh, this looks good. Oh, yeah, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Oh, Steven Yeun's in this. And then it cut to Kyle Chandler. And I'm like, well,
yeah,
Coach Taylor.
Yeah.
Coach Taylor's in this thing. You sign me up. Like, I'm good. So the cast of this movie, I do think it looks really interesting. I also think, and Interstellar really played really well with this too. When you make Matt Damon not a good guy.
Yes.
or a questionably good guy, it actually works really, really well.
Yeah.
Like, had you switched this around and Ben Affleck had been the one that was like, yeah, I don't know, and Matt Damon had been screaming, I don't know if I can trust you, they're both really good. It might have been fine. But the way it plays out this way, way better. Matt Damon sort of has that. He's got that persona that he just kind of grew up playing this guy. You're like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, he was Ripley in Talented Mr. Ripley, but he just has that face. So when you put him in that sort of questionable role where he's got that tattoo at the end that says, are we the good guys? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. But yeah, honestly, for me, seeing those two on screen together, you could put them in any movie together. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go see that.
I mean, I think when you look at his work in The Departed, when you go back to what he did in School Ties, Matt Damon plays a great son of a bitch. And I think we are hopefully in store for another one of those performances.
I also think Ben Affleck has had some bad performances in his life.
How dare you?
Listen, I have loved that man ever since Michael Bay bought those teeth for him in Armageddon and made him very, very sexy. But like, I love Ben Affleck. There was a period of time where I was like, Ben Affleck is actually a better director than an actor. Ben Affleck should keep doing movies behind it, because whenever Ben Affleck directs a movie, I'm like, God damn, he's good. But when Ben Affleck is not depressed or stressed or with J-Lo, he's actually great. And when he's with his buddy Matt Damon, it just feels relaxed, and I just feel like he can really cut loose. So I'm all about. Sign me up for Gritty, guys. You call me Gritty Sparkles. That's my drag queen name. Gritty Sparkles. Let's go.
Wait a minute. Goes out late at night, hangs out with a crew of dudes, drinks a lot, and sleeps around. I mean, you've got the grittiness. The only thing you're missing is stealing some money. That's the only thing you're missing right now. So you've got it all squared away. Maybe Vogel is grittier than we thought.
First of all, you're just throwing my shit out there for the world. Throw my shit out there for everybody. Second of all, I didn't know we were doing Geek Buddies After Dark right now.
Well, it is after 6. Anyway, all right.
Anywho, The Rip comes out January 16th.
I'm trying to give you credit, saying you're grittier than you think. Anyway.
And that brings us to our last trailer. And this one, I know both of the fellas are going to respond to it. I know John did, definitely. It's our second look at The Smashing Machine.
Oh, yeah.
This one is from director Benny Safdie, stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt. The Rock playing UFC fighter Mark Kerr, and the journey he kind of went through when he became addicted to painkillers. Is that fair to say, Johnny?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
You know, the response out of the Venice Film Festival is that this is a pretty big home run, not just for Benny Safdie, but also for Dwayne Johnson. Over the last several years, he's been playing the same role. He's been putting on a different costume, but he's been playing the same guy. And a movie like this, where, you know, he made a friend in Emily Blunt after, I think it was Jungle Cruise was the first thing they worked on together. And him tackling a role like this, you read these interviews where he talks about, like, he was scared to do it. That he thought, the audience sees me as this, I need to be this. And Emily Blunt was one of the people who really supported the decision and was there to help him. And based off of this trailer, which is incredibly effective, based off of this trailer, I feel like we're seeing a Dwayne Johnson that the last time we saw him was maybe in Snitch, which is a film that John and I were big fans of from more than 10 years ago. But it looks like he's put a pretty special performance together. So Johnny, let's go to you again. Your first thoughts on the second look at The Smashing Machine.
Yeah, I reacted to this one and I was almost in tears by the end. Like there's, you know, whatever my issues are with The Rock and his shifting narratives on certain films that didn't do well, or shifting narratives on his own career path, I'll always love him and I will always support him and I'll always want him to do well. And it seems like he has really put his heart and soul into this role. I like the voice alterations he's made to sound like Mark Kerr. He really is intimidating for his size, but the gentle moments that you see in the trailer, the gentle moments he has with Emily Blunt, the gentle moments when he's like trying to figure out what's going on, the apology, the crying into the bed sheets in the hospital. Like that shook me. As someone who's gone through his own kind of stuff where you have to come to terms with some of your own actions in your past, you kind of feel those moments when they're authentic on screen from actors, and that certainly felt incredibly authentic. And it's a color, no matter what we've seen from The Rock before, it's a color we've never seen from The Rock before. And I thought that was, and I've seen The Rock from WWE through all his movies and TV shows. I've seen it, and I'm telling you, I've never seen that color before. And that tells me that he really fully committed to what he's doing here. And I can't wait to see it. Yes, the TIFF receptions weren't as strong as the Venice receptions. So I'm going in open-minded, but I hope I like the movie and his performance as well. We'll see. But this trailer makes me want to.
Mikey, the smashing machine, as John already kind of let the cat out of the bag, you'd done your fair amount of smashing. So what did you think? What did you think of our second look at the smashing machine?
Fuck me, man. I didn't mean it in a bad way. I'm jealous. Go ahead, yes.
Hey, slutty grit fest over there. Hey, what's going on? I think the trailer looks great. I echo everything John said. Look, I love Dwayne Johnson going after that Oscar nomination.
Yeah, man.
And this is a movie that you're like, this is like Tom Hanks doing Philadelphia. Like, this is like, he is going for it. If he doesn't get, knowing Dwayne Johnson and how he is, I think he put his all into this role. I'm not taking anything away. It's like, it looks like he dove into the process in a major way. But knowing Dwayne Johnson's personality, if he does not get an Oscar nomination, you do not want to be around that man on the day that Oscar nominations come out.
It's so true.
But for me, as much as I am excited to see his performance and I think the movie looks really good, I'm going for Emily Blunt.
Fair.
Like she is sort of it. I feel like she's suffering in this trailer because Dwayne Johnson has such a transformation, and Emily Blunt is doing what Emily Blunt always does, which is fucking A+ work.
Yeah.
Like, you look at her in this trailer just responding to what's happening and what's going on with him, and I'm like, I'm going for her. I mean, this is the woman that like stole all of Oppenheimer with one scene and just ran away with that entire movie. Like, she is one of the best out there. So I actually didn't know what Shannon had said about how she had been really sort of instrumental in getting The Rock to sort of make this big leap and do something that was so outside of his character. But given the performances that we've seen Emily Blunt do, that's not surprising to me. Yeah. She's great. I think she is one of the best. So I'm really going for her, but I am excited to see Dwayne Johnson's performance.
You're right about Emily. She can make it work with anybody. I mean, The 5-Year Engagement is maybe one of the worst Jason Segel films ever, but they have such great chemistry that you just buy it, you know? And so she's amazing. She's amazing like that.
Well, The Smashing Machine comes out October 3rd.
It should be our new nickname for Michael. All right, that's our trailers and our rapid fire. Let's get into our spoiler review for Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 4. Let's get into this one. It was written by James Gunn, of course, but directed by Peter Sollett. Need I say Door? And in this one, we go back to 35 years ago where Augie shoots an alien here. This could possibly be the imps that the other Augie is referencing in the other universe. We'll get more with Adebayo, who drops some real strong knowledge on Chris about him wanting to run to this other universe. We also get Economos trying to help Chris, trying to help the 11th Street crew. We get Michael Rooker back and a little more here with that little ass-kicking guy who from Vietnam. And we get Hardcore possibly turning on Peacemaker with the conversations that she has with Frank there. And coming to terms with the fact that she might have to turn on Chris in order to be able to just simply pay her bills because she's been blacklisted by Amanda Wallace. There was a lot in this episode, 38-minute episode. Michael, your thoughts on this one overall?
Overall, I don't think anything in this episode like knocked me out of the water, didn't blow me away, but I'm invested in all of these stories. I am really, really into it. I've also realized, as many people have commented, our issues with Tim Meadows and his bird blindness.
Yes.
When it comes to James Gunn's humor, it might not be James Gunn's writing that's the issue, it's the performer. Because everything that Michael Rooker did was just as dumb, if not dumber, than a bird blindness joke. But I'll be goddamned if I was not on the floor, everything. Like, that man this was probably the first post-credit sequence in all of the Peacemakers that I was like, all right, A+. Everything you just did, A+. I thought he was hilarious. I do think in the bigger picture of like where we're going with the DC universe, interesting retconning here. Like when James, and good retconning. I don't mean retconning in a negative way. When James Gunn did season 1 of Peacemaker, he was not in the position to build out a bigger DC universe. He was still in the DCEU and he was doing his thing. And that the implication in that season was my racist KKK dad is also a super genius and he built this quantum thing and he built my helmets. Now we find out with that alien who I don't think is an imp, because imps in the DC universe are magical, more magical in nature. But we find out that he did not create the quantum unfolding chamber. He basically lifted it off an alien that he shot in the head, that he basically is a dummy who has a 10th grade education, and that he didn't technically make Peacemaker's helmets. That's a complicated story. So I do think the fact that Lex Luthor built a pocket dimension, we are now concerned about pocket dimensions in the DCU. We have this quantum unfolding chamber, which is also a pocket dimension that came from some alien source. And Man of Tomorrow is about Lex Luthor and Superman having to team up to fight some bigger thing. I do think we are starting to see the direction that things are going here. So that was interesting to me. And other than that, I thought everything was good. And I have a lot of thoughts about Adebayo and this other dimension that we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, we will. Shannon, your overall thoughts on this particular episode. What do you think of it?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I think there was a lot of nice. I thought there was a lot of nice character stuff. Judo Master is a funny character.
Oh my God.
And the scene between Judo Master, Michael Rooker, and John Economos. I mean, that's a funny scene. I mean,
that was a good James Gunn scene.
Yes.
I mean, everything with Steve Agee and Michael Rooker, I thought was really, really strong. Yeah. On the pure acting front, the Harcourt and Rick Flag Sr. scene. I mean, Frank Grillo, we forget that Frank Grillo is actually he's a good actor.
Yep.
He has this reputation of being like, he plays the tough guy. He plays the heavy. And there isn't always a lot asked for someone in that role. You have to show up. You have to look menacing. You have to snarl. And sometimes that's all the project needs. With him being given the opportunity to do something different, where he's going to his dead son's sort of girlfriend. Yeah. I mean, watching the history that you can see that these two people have, I mean, you do start to appreciate Frank Grillo as a performer a bit more. In terms of the things that grossed me out, when Economos finally has had enough of Tim Meadows and he hawks a loogie on him and the loogie bounces off Tim Meadows' face, that was maybe one of the grossest things I feel like I've ever seen. I've never seen a loogie bounce. It reminded me of the Seinfeld episode where they recreate Mike Piazza and the JFK scene, trying to figure out who actually spit on Kramer. Overall, I thought this was a bit of a table setting episode.
It
was a table setting episode that I thought was good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I liked it better than the last episode. I think the humor worked better in this episode than the last episode. And I thought the conversations, because it's clear that this whole season is Chris wanting to escape into a better place where he's loved, because he's clearly broken. He's clearly damaged. He's clearly hurt. He feels guilty about the things that he's done in this universe. And so there's this temptation. And Michael, you brought up, and we'll lead into it now, but like, the conversation he has with Adebayo is so powerful. And her, like, she's happy getting her security firm in this little magazine. And of course, he blows it all up by telling her only 12 people buy the magazine, which I think is heartbreaking. But it's all leading to this conversation about Chris finally revealing this pocket or this other universe that he's been going to, and revealing that he killed his other version of himself. And then talking about how he's respected as a hero there. He is really loved there. It's the universe he wants to be in. And, you know, she drops some real strong knowledge bombs on him about the whole situation and getting him to see, like, you got to fix here. What you say, no matter how green the grass is there, our biggest problems in life are the ones we carry within ourselves. I thought that was incredibly powerful. And this is where James Gunn, I think, as we've said before, this is where he thrives, in the relationship conversations. Shannon, you said this too, the hardcore Frank Grillo stuff. I mean, him calling his son Ricky, like that was just a little thing, but that little thing lets you know the connection and the affection that he has for his son. And how much did his son tell Frank about, or tell Rick about the relationship with Hardcore? Did he do it behind Hardcore's back? Did he do it without her approval? Like, these are the conversations that we're alluding to here throughout. So I like that they're dropping little seeds and having the right kind of humor with Michael Rooker rather, in this thing, and also with Judo Master, who had a good fight scene with Chris as well. So all of that, just I thoroughly enjoyed here throughout. This was a better episode than the last one for me. Michael, talk about the out of bio with Chris stuff and where it all leads to throughout the episode.
Well, I do think like their friendship is delightful. And again, the chemistry of the actors in this show is the thing that really keeps it going. I don't know that Peacemaker is the greatest superhero show ever. It's not like when we were watching The Penguin, and every single episode of The Penguin, we came in and we were like, holy fucking shit, this show. And it's not even like when Johnny and I have been talking about Alien Earth over the past few weeks, where I think Alien Earth is really doing amazing things. Peacemaker is just a fun show that is adding to the DC universe. But the cast of this show and this relationship between the 11th Street Gang is really just, they have, and I don't mean this in a derivative way, but they kind of have that fun vibe that the Guardians and the Guardians of the Galaxy do. They're a bunch of fucking fuck ups. Yeah. All of them are broken. I mean, you know, Adebayo, she does drop some really good knowledge on Chris. She's talking a good game. She is also running away from her relationship to go be a spy because she can't deal with the fact that she basically threw her mom under the bus, and that's a whole thing. So, you know, I do think that was really interesting. But the second that they brought that the little box to make the doorway, that that you might call it a mother box. But once they brought that box in there to make the doorway, and they were talking about this universe, and she was like, I don't even know if it's real. Maybe it's just something that makes you think of what is real. I'm like, oh, she's going to go to that universe.
Yes.
And she is going to be the only black person. And that is how he's going to find out what that universe is. Like, I was like, oh, to the point where I was almost getting frustrated, because as soon as I thought it, I was like, all right, let's fucking go. Like, I want to see this, because I'm like, oh, what a way to do that reveal. That's a way to do the reveal that even though we all think that that's the direction it's going, and maybe it's not, maybe something else is going to happen, but I think it is. That's a great, as opposed to him going and it just being told to him or something happens, for him to bring Adebayo to that world to show her that things are better.
Yeah.
And that reaction happening, I was like, oh shit, that's going to be awesome. So that got me really, really excited. And then, yes, I do. The more that I'm thinking about things, the more I'm like, there's all this quantum tunnels and pocket dimensions. Like, are we getting into New Gods and Apocalypse and Dark Side territory? Is that are we doing that? I think the Snyder Bros gonna be real mad if we are, but let's see what happens.
What do you think, Shannon, of the relationship here with Adebayo and Chris and their journey in this episode, and where it ends up with him sitting in that thing, going into the other universe and all of that? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the nuance of the relationship is what makes it really, really touching and beautiful. Because when she gets the ad in Pro Soldier magazine, and she is so excited about it, and you know, she comes from the legit world. She worked for Argus. She's Amanda Waller's daughter. She comes from a place that has structurally has rules. And so getting an ad in this magazine that not 12,000, not 1,200. Do you see where I'm going with this? I mean, that line was so great, but she's so proud of it and taking a picture, trying to get her lady back. The moment that Chris reaches out and says, can you pick me up ASAP? This is an emergency. She drops everything that she does and she goes. And so I think something like that, again, that just brings reality to those relationships. And on Chris's side as well when he's messing with the thing, trying to, you know, transfer the unfolding chamber, and he tells her to go, like, go, 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 go. And she's like, wait, what? He's like, you can tell he's doing that because he cares about her.
Yep.
He's like, I might not make it out of this. You will make it out. You got to go. And you see the aftermath of that transfer, like the all of the trees getting blown back. I mean, that's I just love the nuance in their relationship. And again, I think that's the thing that ultimately, like Vogel said, like with the Guardians, that's the thing that ultimately makes the characters. That's why you go on the journey with them. That's why you can take an episode where not a ton happens, but it's still enjoyable because you like these people so much.
Yeah, I love the relationship they have. Like, she really cares about him. Like, you can tell it's really like deep within, and she's been caring about him for a while through the first season into this season as well. And like you said, Mike, she dropped everything and went over there to try to help him. And then also, she's the one that's trying to get him like, this is bad for you. You don't understand. This is bad for you. And also, that Emilia is in love with that Chris, not your Chris. And you're going to try to essentially leap over some critical moments in a relationship to assume a relationship that you don't have. And what's he going to do when he finds out that she's part of this white power world and engages in it? That's going to be if she is, I'm not saying she is, but if she is, that's going to be a real mind fuck for Chris as well. And I think that's going to be interesting to see when it happens. But yeah, but by the end, you know, he's doing what he can do to protect her, like Shannon said, and he's going to take the hit. And so we'll see what her role is in all this. Cause I agree with Michael. I felt the same way. I'm like, oh shit, she's going into these. She's going to expose this. She's the perfect one to go in and expose this for him. Now, Shannon, you brought this one up. So talk a little bit more about this conversation where Harcourt is at. We see her engaging in yet another fight there. And she's got blood coming out of her lip there when she gets home. We see Rick Flag Sr. come over and have the conversation with her and convince her in essence to turn on Peacemaker, but also let her know that her suspicions are confirmed that she was blacklisted by Waller. Is one of the last things she did before she walked out of there, and she's struggling to pay bills. So she kind of has to do this now. And even when she gets the call or the text from John, she's luring him into a trap. And even Chris Peacemaker, even Peacemaker, it looks like John Cena's face. He is playing that he knows this is probably a trap, but he's going anyway. So what are your thoughts on all this with Harcourt and Rick Flag and then Peacemaker as well?
I mean, just some really nice work between the two of them. I mean, and also from the director, like when you see one that the amount of fights that she has and has never had a tooth knocked out, it's pretty incredible. The amount of blood she spat into the sink and all of those pearly whites are all in place is really, she can take a punch like a champ. But as the way that she buttons up when she sees him in the people, like when you see her posture improves, she becomes that Argus agent, that government operative who understands and respects the chain of command, that this is her superior right there, even though she's not technically working for the government right now. And the ease with which he comes in, that did he and his son have a conversation about her? Probably. Like it's not explicitly stated, but this is a guy who, this is a connection to his son right here. Also, she is the key to helping him get the thing that he wants, which is justice for his son. Right. The moment that he looks at her wall and he sees the dangling cords from where the television used to be, all of that was just super, super nice. And I want Rick Flag Sr. to be a good guy. But right now, and I think it's probably going to be more interesting if he does kind of remain in that sort of gray area, because why he's doing what he's doing, he is using his position, which he shouldn't do, to get justice for his son, which a lot of people would say he should do. So it makes it a very interesting approach. And even the way that he's telling it, like he sweetens the pot right away. Like, hey, this thing that you thought, you're right. She did do that. Nope. I can officially tell you this. And the moment that he says, hey, I can, there's a way for you to get back in. And part of you wants to think, like when he sees that framed photo of the 11th Street Kids and Peacemaker's there in the background, he understands what he's up against, that this is someone who is a little conflicted, that they have gone through an experience and that experience has bonded them to a degree. And he's hoping that the combination of loyalty to his dead son and also the temptation of getting her back working. Because she said, like, when he said, you didn't do this for the accolade, or are you doing this for the accolades? No, I'm doing this to keep my utilities on. Like, that is such a real problem that I imagine a lot of people are facing right now with the economy the way that it is, you know, a lot of folks are living paycheck to paycheck. And like, am I going to have the money to pay my cell phone bill? Am I going to have the money to pay rent? So the fact that he's able to kind of weaponize that, and you can see she's not sold. Like it takes a second, but ultimately, is she doing this for Rick Flag Jr.? Is she doing this for self-preservation? We don't totally know, but it was just a really, really great scene. And again, seeing how conflicted she was towards the end of the scene, it was like, man, this again, it puts our hearts in a difficult position, but that's also what makes good storytelling. Yeah.
Agreed. Michael, your thoughts on this relationship, and do you think they're cooking up something to turn the tables on Rick Flag Sr., or do you think this is more just her having to do what she needs to do to survive here?
I think she's doing what she needs to do. I mean, I'm curious to see where it all goes. I mean, he's going to get caught. We saw in the previews for next week that he's in the room being interrogated by Rick Flag. So I don't think that she's going to pull a fast one on him. Aside from the fact that there was clearly no coffee in the coffee cup of Rick Flag, and it annoyed the crap out of me.
I mean, I don't know if he went to acting school to learn how to do that, but yeah, I mean, that's a fair criticism.
We lost you for a second.
You got me now?
There we go.
You got me now? My phone rang. Sorry, guys. It all went crazy here. It's the gritty life of Michael Vogel in this apartment. No, I don't think she's pulling a fast one on it. But yeah, the coffee cup bugged me. That just drives me crazy because I was like, he sipped that thing, and I was like, you ain't sipping shit, bro. But no, what I liked about the scene a lot was that the characters got to have honest reactions. And what I mean by that is, we know that Amelia is holding Chris at arm's length, and we know that she wants this job back. But despite all of that, she still defended Chris.
Yeah.
Like, she defended him to Rick Flag. She was like, look, he was just following orders. Like, Amanda Waller told him to do something and he did it. That was his job. He did what a soldier is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Not you take it up with Waller. And his response, which was also a good response, was like, you didn't follow orders. You didn't listen to everything Amanda Waller told. Economos didn't listen to anything. I've disobeyed Amanda Waller's orders. It's possible to do. He could have done it if he wanted to. And I was like, wow, that is a real, like, that is not placing your characters where you need them to be. You are letting these characters duke this out. And it was like a good, solid conversation.
Yeah.
I also like that they addressed the fact that she's been blacklisted, but Economos hasn't.
Yeah.
You know, like for everything that happened at the end of season 1, you're like, and Rick Flag was like, look, Waller was pissed about her daughter and she had to blame somebody and it fell on you. That it sucks. And you're like, so like these things that I've seen people bring up, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Like they sort of just went right down the line and you were like, yeah, this all makes sense. And that even the way that she was, to Shannon's point about the acting, like when she was in her apartment and Chris texted her, she was like pissed about it.
Yep.
That she was like, God damn it. Cause then she had to make the call.
Yep.
Like this was the moment. Now I was pondering this and now I got to make the call. And then she was even pissed when she went out to get in the car and Flag was like, you're doing the right thing. And she's like, yeah, I know. Like just the conflict that is very naturally there in all of this. On the Rick Flag thing, look, they're doing an interesting thing with Rick Flag. To Shannon's point, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy in Creature Commandos,
right?
Nor is he a bad guy in Superman. He's the guy that's like, look, Superman did something that was naive, but he did stop a war. Like he is a good guy, except when it comes to what happened to his son.
Yeah.
This is the one area where it's like, okay, well, he's he's going to do what he's going to do for this. And that makes him interesting. That he's not coming in as this heavy, evil, manipulative guy, but he's also not a good guy who's always going to do the right thing, even if somebody killed his son. He's very human. Yeah. And I think that's going to make this conversation that we get probably next week when he's interrogating Chris, when those two are actually in a room together and having this conversation about his son, it's going to be really, really interesting. So I agree with everything that Shannon said earlier about Frank Grillo being a really good actor. I think everyone's doing great acting in this, but I think that all the reasons that you guys said, and then those other things, like that's what really made this scene really, really interesting and exciting for me.
Yeah. Again, Jennifer Holland, man, like I know people have been giving her shit for a long time for being cast in these projects with James Gunn, but when you're the other side of that argument is that you got to show up and step up if you do get cast in these roles, because the public will chew you up, media will chew you up, the fans will chew you up if you don't step up. And she has. They've given her more real estate in this particular season, and she's delivered, and she's knocked it out of the park, and she's given us a really nuanced and interesting take on Harcourt that makes me cheer for her. Last season, I liked her as, you know, like the back and forth with her and Cena. This season, I actually care about her. I care what's going to happen. I care where it's going to go and what she's going to do. And the scenes with her and Frank, you can tell she carries a certain element of guilt about the whole situation as well. And she even tells him at the end, like, you're not going in with just these guys, right? These assholes, as she says to Tim Meadows and the Latina actress. I can't think of her name right now, but she said, you know, you're going to need way more than this if you're going to take down Peacemaker. So even she's trying to like play both sides in the situation. So it's not it doesn't come out in a negative for either side, because she understands why Rick Flag Sr. wants to find out what happened, wants to confront Peacemaker about it, but she also cares for Chris. And so it's that balancing act that she's going to have to do. So I think she's doing a great job with that stuff. Michael, you want to chime in with something else?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, what about these dudes, man? Talk to me about these guys. Talk about Economos trying to warn them with a standard text when you're not in the right position to text, and also delaying opening the door, which I thought was really funny. But also these two and what goes on with them, with Economos messing around with him as well at Red St. Wild and pushing him from behind, and then Judo Master fighting Chris. What do you think of all this, Michael?
Well, Economos is just a great character. And, you know, like we said, like every one of these characters is in a fucked up place of the 11th Street Kids, except Vigilante just seems happy, but he's going to crack at any moment. Oh, yeah. But like, you know, we talked about Adebayo, we've talked about Harcourt, we've talked about Chris, obviously. And then Economos is like in a fucked up situation. And we do learn in this episode that, you know, he hacked into a government computer when he was 14 years old, and he basically was recruited. So he clearly had shitty teenage years. Working for the government, working for Amanda Waller as a teenager sounds like maybe the worst possible thing in the entire world. But the whole him stalling and doing it really slow, and do you guys hear a cat? Again, this is that James Gunn humor that if it had been a different actor, you'd be like, boy, this is bad. And he sells it. He does a great job. So watching him struggle, having that moment where he finally was like, I'm going to protect Eagly, like the whole relationship, kind of your point. Season 1 was Harcourt and Economos and everybody being like, Peacemaker is a joke, and a lot of conflict, and then slowly coming over to, okay, I guess we're all on the same team and we like each other. Yeah. This is I still think you're a moron, but like, you're my moron, and I'm going to look out for you. And it's very, very sweet. Judo Master is hilarious. The entire scene where he was like, you remember when you smashed into me and hit me with a crowbar? Yeah. Man, I just wanted to see if you remembered. Yeah. I wish I had killed you. Oh, so I'd be dead right now. The whole bit was great.
Corpse. Oh my God.
He kind of has the great, like his fight scenes are legitimately cool fight scenes where they use the fact that he's tiny, which is kind of the joke, but they also use it to their best advantage in the fight scenes to make the fight scenes really interesting and more dynamic than if he was the same size as everybody else. So that's really fun. Let's talk about Michael Rooker, though. Michael Rooker is a have your cake and eat it too character here. And we talk a lot about this sometimes when we talk about shows where we talked about it with Peacemaker in the first episode, where you make a joke about women or you make a joke about gay people and we have that reaction. And then people are like, oh, you should have a sense of humor. And we're like, that's not what we're saying. Michael Rooker is the way that you can have a white character with weird Native American powers but you also make fun of the fact that you have a white character with weird Native American powers. Like, he is the weirdest dude, gets called out for his cultural appropriation constantly, keeps calling Judo Master the wrong ethnicity when he said, no, he said he's Vietnamese. Isn't that one of the places Chinamen come from? Like, just the most straight up horrible thing. And he's just a moron. But then you get to the end of the episode and he does his cultural appropriation dance around the fire and it still works. And he gets the eagle on his forehead and he starts floating around and finds them. And I'm like, yep, this is how you do it. Like, as long as you make fun of the fact that this old white man is doing all this shit, is great. And again, like I was saying, had that been any other actor, it might not have worked. But Michael Rooker knows how to do a James Gunn bit, and he really did it perfectly. So when I heard earlier in the season that Michael Rooker was going to play an eagle hunter, I was kind of like, okay, let's see how that goes. But I am all about everything that he does. He cracked me up.
I mean, the fact that he thinks his third eye has been opened.
My third eye's open.
And if he will avenge all the bad things that have happened to Native Americans by killing the main eagle. I mean, it's madness, but it's hilarious. Shannon, what do you think of all this stuff here with these three characters?
I mean, well, since we'll start with Rooker, since that's what we're currently on. I mean, listening to the podcast that comes out along with the show, they were talking about the fact that Rooker is not the most skilled dancer, as evidenced by him being pretty hidden during the opening credits. But he was incredible around that fire. James Gunn's like, that man's 70 years old. He danced in front of that fire for hours. And just talking about the way that this could come off as a potentially insensitive character, but because it's Michael Rooker, who again has a history of playing tough guys. I mean, even Yondu is a tough guy. Like, you get a little bit of that heart in Guardians 1 and you open it up in Guardians 2. You see him playing a full-on sympathetic character in this, and like, he's sweet, but he's stupid, but he's really funny. I mean, even when Judo Master says, are you like one of the top 5 stupidest people on the planet? He's like, that's not nice, son. Like, he's so genuinely hurt by that. Going over to Economos and Judo Master. Yeah, I agree with Vogel. I think Judo Master is such a fun character, but acting wise and story wise, this was his episode. Yeah. And the way that he is trying to stall when Bordeaux says, I'm not paid to deal with your shit. He's like, actually, you are. If you've read my file, I've got some social deficiencies, but what I bring to the table outweighs that. So in effect, you are paid to deal with my bullshit. So funny. The thing back and forth where Judo Master asks him, is like, so you would want my dead corpse sitting here right now? And he goes, yes. Like, there's a growl in his voice that is so funny. Watching Judo Master and Peacemaker fight is so much fun. Yeah. Because you can see the advantages that someone who is that size but knows what they're doing actually has over someone that's big and not quite as fast. The shot when they finally go tumbling down that hill, the shot of Judo Master before Peacemaker lands on him, where he puts his arms up and that shot in a normal film or television show is saved for someone who is about to be squashed by a boulder, a vehicle, or a building. In this case, because Judo Master is so tiny, that shot is for John Cena. Yeah. And it cracked me up, but at the end of the episode, after they've transferred the quantum unfolding chamber, it's the next day, we see Judo Master limping out of the woods, and I'm like, nobody checked on him. Nobody asked, hey, where's the little guy in the green suit? I thought it was just so funny. And in terms of like characters that we were going to see in the second season, I didn't think Judo Master was going to make the leap, but I'm so glad he did, because he is so freaking funny.
The leap, I guess. See what you did there. Yeah, I think Steve Agee is just doing such a great job with Economos. And something you said earlier, Michael, made me think that the reason Waller went after Hardcore may be because Economos kissed her ass. Because remember in the first or second episode when Rick Flag is like, don't kiss my ass, son. I don't respond to that kind of thing. So it may be, so the Economos carries a little bit of guilt over that as well, possibly throughout this. So him trying to help, the text thing was genius. I've sent texts like that. They're frustrating, but like, I thought that was hilarious. And him trying to stall, all of that was really good. But him with Saint Wild, like he legitimately, like he was desperate to do this. And this is what a guy who's basically been indoctrinated into the Argus there since he was 14 would do, is like a desperate push there to shove him down and what have you. So I loved that. And the Judo Master stuff was great. You guys have hit on it all so strongly, but his back and forth about the corpse, Shannon, that to me. So my friends and family would be traumatized by you dragging my corpse around. He goes, yeah, you're so small, I can take it with me wherever I go. Like that is so much better than the stupid homecoming back and forth or housewarming gift or like these jokes landed much better than they did in the truck for the previous time when they were in there. And in him even calling out Tim Meadows' character for winking at about Bordeaux and him saying, "Oh, it's from the Midwest" or whatever, right? And then Michael Rooker, who is great. The cultural appropriation is so perfect because I think Gunn is making a commentary about people who claim to be about cultural appropriation, but then against cultural appropriation, but then like don't respect or really understand the terminology of all of it. Like the fact that he keeps calling him a Chinaman when he says he's from Vietnam. And I just love Judo Master calling him Wild Bill Succock. That to me had me on the ground. So yeah, I loved all these guys in this episode. All right. Any final comments, any final words here as we wrap up? We got to get to these questions here before we go.
No, I mean, I'm excited to see where all of this goes with this, how he got the helmets and what's going on. Cause I do think that's going to lead to the bigger reveals that the DC universe has in store for us, but I'm also excited for them to get back to this other universe and figure out what's going on there. So even though I thought this was more of a table setting episode, it does make me excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, agreed. Jen, anything? You good?
We are halfway through season 2
right.
officially now. So yeah, I mean, the show has definitely gotten better with each episode, even though again, this was a setup episode, but the setup was very enjoyable.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's get to these questions. Luke James Actor 1 says, hope you're well. Love the show. Geek the F out. Thank you.
Hey, we did.
Very kind of you. KJ says, name a classic movie that you are embarrassed to say you either did not like or haven't seen. Embarrassed to say that.
I don't know if I would say I was embarrassed, but I rectified this recently, but it touches both parts. I had never seen Animal House. And my wife was just like, you have to watch Animal House. Like you like comedy. So I hadn't seen it in forever. And I watched it. I'm like, I don't think this is that funny.
Wow.
Like there's a couple of funny moments, but I feel like comedy has traveled past what this movie was.
Michael, do you have an answer to this?
I think The English Patient is boring.
How dare you? You're just trying to be
I do think it's boring. I don't love that movie. I think it's a boring movie.
Speaking of which, Slow Dogs, new season, Kristen Scott Thomas, see it. It's good. I think mine's The Apartment. I've yet to see The Apartment. I'm embarrassed I haven't seen that. The Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine film from 1960. Julius Wyatt, random question. Thoughts on The Dark Knight? The three of us love it. Yes.
Still after 5 phases of Marvel where we've gotten some incredible movies, The Dark Knight is still, I think, maybe the best comic book movie ever made.
Okay. Michael, any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think Dark Knight is amazing. I think that whole trilogy is amazing, mostly. No, it's a great. Listen, I will say this about do this. We all agree. The last. It is. No, here's what I'll say. The last 40 minutes of Dark Knight Rises, where the cops are trapped under the sewers and Bane says that he's going to protect Gotham from a nuclear bomb, but a civilian has the key to the bomb, but they don't know that they have the key and they're driving around in the trucks. And you're just like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I'm going to give them the fact that Heath Ledger died and Christopher Nolan probably had some different plans and had to shift gears. I don't know what the whole deal was. But when you watch Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises back to back as if it is a 6.5 hour, 7 hour movie, the fact that the last 40 minutes gets a little muddy is overshadowed by this epic story that kind of all comes back together, that the League of Shadows was we're going to destroy Gotham. Batman stopped them. This whole interlude happens with the Joker that really, and Two-Face that really changes everything. And then Batman takes the rap for it. And then the League of Shadows comes back at the end. Like, it actually all does really work. Yeah. So I love the trilogy, even though the back 30 minutes, 40 minutes is, and Talia al Ghul's death is one of the worst best deaths in cinema.
What are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. The worst death, man. Yeah, I love it. That's all I'll say. Can you recall your favorite? KJ says, can you recall your favorite childhood toy line growing up? Mine were the Kenner superpower figures from 1984. Oh, yes. I remember those. I guess mine's the Transformer stuff. That's really the big thing that I would collect when I was a kid. What about you guys?
Oh, Star Wars. Without, I loved the superpowers figures because you would squeeze Superman's legs and he would start punching like this. You'd squeeze Aquaman's arms and his legs would kick. But it's Star Wars. Star Wars has no real competition in the toy realm.
Okay, Michael.
I might not have been gritty, but I was spoiled. So I had all the toys. And I went through phases. Like my action figure collecting started with Masters of the Universe, which I was 100% obsessed with and bought literally every single thing you could buy. Yes. But then Thundercats overtook Masters of the Universe, and I got the Cat's Lair, and I had every character, and I had the Thunder Tank. But then Silverhawks was in there for a while. Transformers and G.I. Joe were constant. Ninja Turtles then became the biggest thing. I had the sewer. I had the van that shot the pizzas. I had the whole thing. Yeah, man, I loved them all. And collected all the Star Wars stuff. The Ewok Village was my favorite playset. It was a fucking banger playset. And then, like, because I had two sisters and I had my little brother, like, we also had all of Rainbow Bright, all of My Little Pony, all of Care Bears, all the Gem and the Holograms. Like, really, our playroom was insane.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Ryan, I did not have that. I only 5 choice. Ryan Clyde says, hey, fellas, happy Friday. Bit of a random question. How would you all rank the entries in the Alien franchise? Feel free to include Alien Earth. Yeah, probably Aliens, Alien Earth, and then everything else after. What do you bet, you guys?
Aliens, Alien, Alien Earth, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien Covenant, Prometheus. I'm not including Aliens versus Predator movies, but they would probably go below everything except for Covenant and Prometheus.
Wow, you left one out. Aliens, Alien, Earth, Romulus.
Oh shit!
Romulus, yeah.
Romulus would go below Alien Earth, but above Alien 3.
I agree with that. Same. Yeah, same. Although I would move Prometheus up over Covenant. Oh, come on. Reggie Brown says, technically we have 2 live Batmans if you add the State Farm commercials. I'm joking. Maybe. Oh, yeah.
Those are wild. That was a commercial. I was like, they really went for that shit.
Bateman. Reggie, if I added Alien Earth Episode 5, I would say it's the 3rd best Aliens movie behind Alien and Aliens and slightly above Romulus, and I love Alien 3. Well, there you go. You agree with a lot of
Alien 3 is the most disappointing opening of any movie of all time. Like, after Alien, if you love Aliens, the fact that Hicks and Newt die in the opening credits, and if I spoiled that for you, I'm sorry, the movie came out in the 90s. But, like, the fact that they die in the opening credits is one of the most frustratingly disappointing things to ever do to anybody who loves a movie franchise. And then the movie is super depressing and ends with Ripley dying. But when you go back and watch it now as an early Fincher film, it's actually pretty fantastic.
It's not bad. Deep Mahmood says, good seeing Scott Adkins in RIP as not a henchman. Oh, yeah, and Rip. That's right. Yeah. In the trailer. Good point. Kyle Wilson, movie idea. You 3 in a buddy cop movie where you 3 are competing to solve the crime. Who would be your dream casting for each of your police mentor character / partners? Much love, gentlemen.
Ooh. What a question. So wait, the 3 of us are cops.
Yes.
And we're all competing to solve the crime. We all want to solve it. And then each one of us has a mentor character or a partner separately. So it's like we are 3 different people and have either a partner or a mentor who is a celebrity.
Oof. Yeah, I think that's right.
uh,
I want Emily Blunt to be my partner.
Okay, that's a great choice. That's a great choice.
My mentor, I would want June Squibb.
Ooh, good.
Nice.
I mean, it has to be Arnold. It has to be Arnold, for God's sake, sitting in the car with me. He's enjoyable, and his dumbass will stumble into the solution. Like, we'll solve the crime by accident, falling ass backwards into it.
No, I think you need a different partner because I want Arnold to be our chief of police. So that when we all get pulled into the office, he was like, "What the fuck do you think you are doing? Like,
Six idiots. You
idiots. Come on, get to the chopper."
Oh, shit. I don't know who else I would take. I mean, those guys. I mean,
you should have The Rock.
Should I have The Rock, of course.
You and Dwayne riding around town together.
Oh my God, he would make me his bitch for sure. Woeful Wendigo says, cake or pie, and how do you all never age? Oh, that's a nice question.
Because I don't eat cake or pie.
Cake and low-res cameras.
There you go. Cake, and I would say no kids, because that keeps you up all night and you're worried about your kids all the time. That takes years off you. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
I like pie.
Yeah. KJ says, what is one thing about being on a TV or film set that the average fan would be surprised about? Is it the boredom? Well, I will say this. I know Shannon and I differ on this. I agree 100%. That to me is the most frustrating part of being on a set. You're fucking waiting forever to get on camera and get on set. It drives you insane. So if you don't have a process or a procedure that keeps you ready to go when they call on you, but also keeps you chill doing what you're doing, it can be very, very frustrating. So for me, that is 100% what I hate about being on set.
It can be boring, but if you have fun people that you're working with that are also not shooting, I mean, I've had some lovely chats with some for shows that I've been on multiple times. I think the thing that would surprise you, so when you get hired for like a one-day thing, you're hired for 8 hours plus however long lunch is, an hour. The goal of any actor who is working on it for a day, you want to be there for 4 hours or you want to be there for 16.
Yeah.
Because if you work for 4 hours, you get done in 4 hours, you get paid for the whole time. Once you go past hour 8, for the first 2 hours, you get paid time and a half. After that, you get paid double time. And then allegedly, there's like some legend that like if you work enough hours, you go into golden time. That's your day rate every hour. I have never had that happen. I don't know if that's actually true. But if you work a day and you end up being there for 9 hours, you're happy for the work. Hopefully you had a good time, but you're kind of pissed because you literally got the worst part of the deal.
Michael, anything you want to say about being on TV or film?
Yeah, it's not boring when you're an executive. You get to walk around and talk to everybody and you leave when you want. It's awesome.
Yeah. Watch the studio. You'll see, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
That's me. That's me. The second episode of the studio is me. Can I stand here? No? I parked my car out back.
I did go on the golden hour twice on the set of Wind Talkers, and those were nice paychecks. Let me just tell you. So it does happen, but it takes a lot for it to happen. John Lee, who do you think makes the helmets? I'm lukewarm on the season so far. It feels like there's more filler episodes so far, in my opinion. Hope episodes 6 to 8 step up. I can't even begin to guess who makes the helmets. What about you guys?
Well, somebody pointed this out, and I can't unsee it now. I don't think this is what it is, and this isn't what it is in the comics, but Peacemaker's helmet does look like Orion's helmet from New Genesis. And if you were to consider that this device is a mother box and is tied into boom tubes and Apocalypse and Darkseid and all this, like these helmets being sort of from New Genesis or their origin is more tied to all that stuff, could open things up and tie Peacemaker into a bigger story. Do I think that's what it is? I actually don't think that's what it is, but the second that somebody pointed it out to me, I now can't unsee it. So now I'm sharing that with you.
Okay. All right.
I think Bad Augie went into the unfolding chamber, saw a helmet and grabbed it, and successful Augie is just kind of like, hey, one disappeared. No big deal. I'll just make another one. I think it's just theft. It's just a case of theft.
Simple theft. Alan Smithy says, Happy Friday, Geek Buds. Happy Friday, Alan. In honor of The Long Walk, what are your favorite Stephen King movies? I love Pet Sematary. It has the best Stephen King song. Thanks, The Ramones. The Mist is good, too. Thanks, buds. Well, we did. I'll excuse myself from this because we did our top 10 Stephen King films yesterday in the Hot Mic. So you guys, if you want to see that from me, Smithy, you can go there. Gentlemen, what are your favorite Stephen King films?
Stand By Me and The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption is the best Stephen King film, just because it's one of the best films, period. I would also say, I feel like there's one that I'm missing, but it's hard for me because most of the things that I love from Stephen King, the first It chapter 1, I think is good. It chapter 2 less so, but It is one of my favorite novels. Needful Things is one of my favorite novels. Under the Dome is one of my favorite Stephen King novels. And most of Stephen King's best stories don't make the leap to features. I put The Shining up there, even though I know it has very little to do with the book The Shining and kind of goes in its own direction. I think Shining and Shawshank Redemption would be my two favorites.
I'll throw Misery in there.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent one as well. Philly G, did you notice that when Economos spit on Flurry that a chunk deflected off of him? So gross and hilarious. Yes,
Shannon clearly did notice.
Alan Smithiel says, do you guys remember that Alien Earth teaser which said the movie took place on Earth? It literally said, on Earth, everyone can hear you scream. Oh, I don't remember.
I 100% do, and I was telling somebody about that the other day, and they didn't believe me. I don't know what happened, because that teaser was out in movie theaters. Yeah. And it was like, oh, this is where it's going to be in the scariest place of all or whatever. And then you were like, yeah, it's on a prison planet. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't remember at all. Did you, Shannon? Nope.
No, I don't remember that. What I remember from that trailer or the teaser trailer is the POV shot and the prisoners running down the hall. That's the only thing I remember from that.
I might pop Alien 3 on, man. Y'all got me jonesing to watch Alien 3.
There you go. I just remember her face turning as the thing is right there, the xenomorph.
I mean, yeah, that's like that. Even though Alien 3 is not most people's favorite movie, that shot of bald Sigourney Weaver with the xenomorph getting right in her face is like one of the all-time classic Alien shots.
Agreed. Kyle Wilson, which actor would you stay for no matter what? I don't know what that means. Stay for, like, stay to watch their movie? I don't know.
You know what? If Kyle is watching, because I think we actually skipped one of KJ's here, John. If Kyle's watching, send it. Clarify what your question, because KJ had another one.
Okay.
You want me to just go ahead and read it?
Yeah. Which one was it?
It was, am I the only one who's shocked that we still haven't had a remake of Glenn Larson's Buck Rogers? I loved Gil and Aaron together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you look at the world of science fiction IP, the fact that every few years we hear about a new version of Flash Gordon being developed, the fact that Buck Rogers, I've never heard of a peep, is pretty surprising. I mean, when you look at how successful the relaunch of, or the reboot of Battlestar Galactica was, the fact that Buck Rogers, again, just no words whatsoever, I think it is pretty surprising.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I wonder, like, well, part of the problem with Buck Rogers, and I'm not completely well versed on my Buck Rogers lore, but I think one of the problems with both Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon is that so many other things, Star Wars being a big one, but so many other sci-fi IP have taken those elements and then done radically different things. So kind of sitting in a room and going, well, what is a Buck Rogers that is new and fresh and feels cool, but is also not like all the other things that stole from it? What would that be? And I think that's kind of the hard question to answer.
Ironically, I think James Gunn would do an excellent Buck Rogers remake. I think that would work. You'd have the humor mixed in with some of the more grittier and then sci-fi weird kind of aspects of it all, which he seems to tend to enjoy. So could be fascinating. All right, 3 more Streamlabs questions. Get on out of here. I am 2 Flying Cam says, hello all. I feel Alien Earth is just terrible. Wow. I love the Alien franchise, but this show does so much nonsense. I can't take it. A $1 trillion company with 0 security measures and no one monitoring the kids inside of $1 billion facility at all. Shake my head. I mean,
this is also the franchise where they send like a bunch of fucking blue collar workers to collect a xenomorph. So
Yeah, I mentioned that on our review earlier this week in the criticism page. I was like, "Who's watching the kids?" And all
you did bring that up.
So I understand the complaint, but there's so much greatness to it that it kind of overshadows that. Fantastic Game says, "Hey, Geek Buddies, I was at the beginning of video games when there was no backstory to them, like Pong, then Space Invaders. So unless they're going to make a Stretch Armstrong movie, I'll just live vicariously through you young pups."
Young pups. Yeah, but Pong has an epic backstory.
Yes.
That I'll make up one day.
Also, there was a Stretch Armstrong possibility as well, so that may happen down the road.
Listen, I already developed a Stretch Armstrong animated series. I put whatever spin we could on Stretch Armstrong with our writing team, and we did the best we could. So,
were you stretched to your limits?
Oh my god! Oh my god! All right, let's move on. Last question here from Sherbert Alex. Shame that I missed the discussion of the Mario Galaxy movie reveal. That teaser trailer made me like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Jerry Maguire. Show me the Yoshi already. There you go. Thank you, Sherbert Alex. Yeah.
And Kyle Wilson did reply on here.
Okay.
He said, if you were an actor on a show or a movie, which actor would you stay on set for while waiting around? So which actor would you want to watch on set?
Daniel Day-Lewis. Not even a question. Yeah.
Meryl Streep.
Oh, yeah. Good choice.
I mean, probably Tom Hanks.
Oh,
no.
Great choice. No.
Yeah, Tom Hanks. I was gonna flip over to Harrison Ford, but I'm like, he might be mad about something. I think Tom Hanks would be really nice on set.
What are you doing on my set? Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? All right, there you go. That's all the questions for us. Thank you all so much for the Streamlabs and Super Chats and for the lively chat throughout the entire episode. We appreciate it madly. You could be anywhere with all the madness going on. So we thank you very much for tuning in with us. And hopefully you enjoyed it and we distracted you from all of it and you had a good time with us. Shannon, what do we have to tell these wonderful people?
Yeah, if you'd like to follow us on social media, on Twitter, it's @geek_buddies, on Instagram at @the_geek_buddies. If you'd like to follow me on social media, on Twitter, it's @Shannon_McClung, on Instagram, it's Shannon the Geek Buddy. If you'd like to follow Mr. Vogel, the gritty one, it's not @gritty, it's @MKToon. If you'd like to follow Mr. Rocha, the smooth one, it's @the Rocha Says.
Yeah, that's me. You know me. Michael, please.
Go ahead and smash that like button below. Subscribe to Johnny's Outlaw John Rocha page. Hey. Subscribe to Johnny's John Rocha page. Check out all the amazing content that he has got there. Go ahead and leave your comments if you're watching this later. What did you think of all of our roundup news? What do you think of our trailers? What do you think of Peacemaker? And hey, if you want to know more about my private life, just go ahead and let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll comment and give you some nice little reveals about my gritty life. If you're listening to us on a podcast, leave us some stars and comments so we go up in the rankings. And as always, the best thing you can do is retweet this video, post it on your social, send it to your friends, and tell them to hang out with your buddies, the Geek Buddies.
There you go. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Be well. Have a good weekend. We love you. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of the
Geek
Buddies.